floor fire escape onto this guy's back. And I said, okay. And he looked at me and he said, that's pretty high, huh? I said, yeah. And he said, all right, just come from around the building. So he knew. And, somebody else would have said, get this fucking guy out of here and get me a stuntman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. And that's what I'm talking about. Those kind of happy, good luck moments in your life that, enabled me to meet Robert De Niro and all of these people. And holy shit.
Well, he was like, Coppola was a pretty manic guy before he got, his diagnosis for his medicine. It wasn't he, was he wild to watch on set?
No.
Very calm.
Very, very commanding, very calm.
Yeah. I guess maybe it was Apocalypse Now that put him over.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah. Did you work with, I don't know. Did you ever work with Dennis Hopper?
I did. I worked with Dennis Hopper on a movie in Las Vegas, and he was wonderful to work with. Peter Weller, Dennis, me, I think Tia Carrera, Howard Fuhrer directed it.
What movie? You remember?
I forget the name of it. But
yeah.
But the cool thing that I remember is we were shooting nights, and it happened to be the night we went on the roof to see them implode the Sands Hotel, which was maybe 300 yards away, 400.
Yeah.
And we saw the Sands Hotel come down. That was amazing.
You hate Vegas. It must have been a good night for you. But your parents weren't the kind of people that went to Vegas, right?
No.
Yeah.
My mom was a bookie. This summer, the way we were able to go down the Jersey Shore, she'd worked for these bookies. And so she had a territory that would play the numbers,
Yeah.
The boarding house, the Newark boarding house, the East Orange boarding house, the Jersey City boarding house, and the Hoboken boarding house.
What about Tommy Lee Jones? He's a good guy?
I love him. I think I learned more about acting from that guy because he's so good and he's so smart, but his intellect, he's able to separate his intellect from his spontaneity, his ability to be so spontaneous. And, I just adored working with him.
Yeah,
I've worked with him 3 times. I've done 3 movies with him.
Yeah, it's the same character, right? It was all The Fugitive.
No, The Fugitive twice. And then we did a movie, with, Ron Shelton movie a couple of years ago. Morgan Freeman and Tommy Lee.
It was good.
George Wallace.
George Wallace, the comedian?
Yes.
What the hell movie was that?
I think they changed the name of it.
The Feast of the Seven Fishes?
No.
Oh, The Brawler? No.
Keep going.
Oh, maybe this is it. Just Getting Started. That's it.
Okay. I never saw it. I've never seen any of those movies you just mentioned.
With Rene Russo? Rene Russo was in it
Yeah,
too?
I never saw it.
Wait. That's so. Did you have were you big scenes in it? You a big part?
I was there for a while. Yeah. I just, it's like.
You're not going to watch it. But you do so you're a guy you're like me though. Like you like doing it and that's enough. What do you got?
That's enough. And you're only going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, oh, they did this. They took that out.
Right.
I suck. Pretty much, I lead with I suck.
But what about the fucking Sopranos? You got to be proud of that.
No, I didn't see that either.
Come on. What are you, crazy?
I don't have HBO to this day.
Come on. You didn't watch yourself play that guy?
That guy was a horrible person. Incredibly fun. But very complicated guy, very, very nasty guy.
Yeah, he was fucking horrendous. Fucking horrendous.
Yep.
But he got it. He got it.
None of my kids are allowed to watch it.
None of them.
It's traumatic. It would be traumatic.
Yeah.
They can't separate. That's nice. That's what's beautiful about movies is, it's a fucking movie because it's not happening. It's happening on your TV.
Yeah.
You know it. You absolutely know, but you get involved. You believe these people.
Yeah.
Good ones. And
Yeah.
so it's like, like you said, it's the joy that in the moments that there's those little moments where in between action and cut where you go, what was, somebody says cut and you go, the fuck was that? Like what just happened? And then you get these directors that was perfect. Do it again. Just like that. I don't know what the fuck I just did. What's he talking about?
But they kept you on. Usually, they kind of churn through guys in one season, the bad guys, but you were on for 2 seasons because they got a lot out of you.
David called, he called me up. He says, it's 2 years work. You come in, you go up against Tony. This is all he said to me. I remember exactly. He says, he's a scumbag, but they're all scumbags. And then in the end, you're going to lose out to Tony. And, it's 2 seasons.
That's it.
That's all he said. I did that thing. I was on it for 2 months.
Yeah.
And I get a script and it says that I'm a coke addict. I'm a drug addict. Nobody ever said I was a coke addict. I never played that.
Yeah.
I didn't know this guy had an issue with drugs until I read about it. And I said, oh, I just did 4 episodes. I could have used that. He goes,
Did you end up playing it later?
There's one scene where I'm doing coke and yelling at Kirk Douglas.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. But what was it like in terms of these guys that you like? Tommy Lee Jones. You could sort of learn stuff from him as an actor. What was it like working with Gandolfini? He seems pretty good.
He was amazing. They're a lot alike. Jimmy was incredibly sensitive, and also the most generous guy I'd ever known in my life. And this is a projection or, on my part, but, becoming that kind of, iconic, TV star, was I think somewhat confusing to him. And how, how people changed around him was somewhat confusing to him. Cause he would always say, I don't know what the fucking noise is about. I'm just some fat guy from Jersey.
Right.
But so much fun and, challenge, cause he kept you on your toes theatrically. You never, you never knew who you were going to get. It was always fresh and always new. And then you have these smart editors that take all these bits and pieces and turn it into great stuff.
So after you do that guy, Ralph, in The Sopranos, I imagine that more than any other thing you did, because you got so much screen time that people who watch The Sopranos, which was everybody except for you, had a relate.
There's still room for a fan out there then. Yeah. One holdout. Here I come.
But I imagine that people recognize you from that more than anything. What was the reaction that people had to that guy? I can't imagine that there's probably some guys like you grew up with who are like, there he is. But
no, you know what? Well, by the time I got The Sopranos, I'd already done Memento. I'd already done Bound. I'd already done The Matrix.
Right.
So it was a cluster, depending on the demographic and the cultural backgrounds of these, the fans.
Right.
The college kids loved Memento. You had the African Americans love The Matrix and the Bad Boys movies, and a lot of the college kids loved that. And then you got the tri-staters, I usually get the Soprano stuff more in the New York area.
Philly, Jersey, New York.
East Coast. Yeah, East Coast.
Yeah. And what is the reaction usually to him?
Well, it's like they call you by the character name.
Yeah, of course.
They'll say, "Hey, I'm really sorry about Tony."
Yeah.
His name, and that used to piss me off when they would call me by the character name. Yeah. What's my name? I would say, "What's my name? Well, who am I? What's my name?" And they go, "Oh, relax."
Really? They think you're going to kill him?
Yeah, I would, and Jimmy and Stevie Van Sant, Michael Imperioli would say, "Hey, Joey, These are your fans. They're paying the fucking rent. The customer's always right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I imagine that women probably gave you a dirty look.
No, on the contrary,
Uh,
women. I remember after that scene
where you killed a stripper.
no, I killed this. I killed a underage stripper,
Pregnant stripper.
my child,
Yeah, yeah.
my child, and I was looking at a store on Fifth Avenue. A couple of days later, I was looking in the window,
Yeah.
and somebody taps me on the shoulder, and it startled me. I turned around, and it was this nice blue-haired old lady.
Yeah.
She said, "Well, I wanted to say hello because I love your work, but I guess you're not as tough as the guy you play on television."
Yeah.
After I did Sopranos, I wanted to change up.
You didn't want to be. Yeah.
That diversity. So I did. I produced and acted in a movie. Marcia Gay Harden was in called Canvas, about an Italian American family who's introduced to mental illness and how mental illness affects the whole family, not just the diagnoses.
Is this something you wrote?
No. A guy named Joe Greco wrote and directed it, but it was something that I wanted to marshal in because I'd been getting slapped around. Well, we were all getting slapped around by these Italian American anti-defamation leagues, and I was like, "Hey, they didn't want you to take the job. Like, what are you guys nuts?" And so,
what do you mean by Italians?
Yeah, there was a whole period where these Italian American defamation leagues were going after the Sopranos and David and the actors for even being a part of something that was that good. But they thought it defamed Italian Americans.
Huh.
And I always thought that what I loved about The Sopranos was that if The Godfather was about the birth of family, the American family,
yeah,
and honor, The Sopranos was about the deconstruction of the family, the falling apart.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. So any opportunity, that's why, the movie that I got coming out, From the Vine.
Yeah.
Which was an opportunity to play this Italian, American character who's a lawyer who winds up working in a factory and then has an awakening, with what he's doing for a living and goes back to his home country in Italy. So I got to work in Italy with Italian actors, and it was a bilingual movie, and it was a lot of fun for me to get an opportunity like that, because the movies that kind of really gave me most value were these little independent movies like La Bamba and Bound and Memento.
Yeah.
In those days, these $2, $3, $4 million movies where they couldn't get movie stars to play those parts. So a guy like me was able to get those parts. And the same thing with technology as it is today. This movie that we made in Italy, for like $1 million, but the technology is such that you can do it, and it's less financial risk for the producers. And that a guy like me, they don't need some movie star, $2 million movie star, so I can come in and get to play these good parts.
So what was the thing about Canvas that was so revelatory to you?
It was the idea that when someone's mind breaks, and someone that you love has changed in a way that she no longer can be reached, and then you have a 10-year-old boy and you're stuck in the middle of how do you get somebody help that doesn't think they need it?
Yeah.
Crazy people, we don't think we're crazy.
Right. Right.
And actually that was the conduit that when Marcia Gay started working, I remember the first thought was like, who does she remind me of? And then I realized it was my mother, because I never thought my mother was nuts. I just